Let's go! Juice! Let's get it! Let's get it! Let's get it! Juice it up! Gotcha! Previously on KIMBA TV. When it was up here, I planned for this. I had that identified. I had all of this. I had a plan A, plan B, plan C. We were very clear about what you needed to get into for this, right? I did that. I also TP'd as I was supposed to and play it by the book. Haskir says, you think I'm risking too much going on a long like at 169, 171? Well, you didn't articulate any edge. So, you're asking the wrong question. And in fact, like, you should know what you're risking. What's your entry? What's your stop loss? What's your position size? So if you get stopped out, how much do you lose? Is it okay? Yeah, if you don't ever want to ask yourself, do you think I'm risking too much? Because by definition, every trade that you take, you're never risking too much. You're risking just enough. Right? By definition, you should never be in a trade where you're risking too much. So, Naylor, instead of trying to memorize what the answer is temporarily right now, you need to have a protocol that will help you and serve you for the remainder of your trading career. So that means you track it and you go with the highest probable outcome. In a bear market and in a bull market, do you understand that settlement will react differently? So you're asking all the wrong questions, Naylor. The most important question would be, are you actually tracking it yourself? Because if you're not, that's where we have to start with first. As of right now, settlement isn't what you want to care about. It's really more about the point of control that's right underneath it. So where was yesterday's settlement? Did yesterday's settlement go up from the previous day's settlement, or did it go down from the previous day's settlement? And what does that mean? These are the questions that are more important, Naylor. So, Daipopi says, how much levers do you use? Anywhere between 3 and 7 when I first get filled. Haskir says, what I mean was like if I should take the chance there or should wait. You didn't, like I said, Haskir, you didn't articulate any edge. We don't long or short random levels. You didn't mention anything about, you didn't say one thing about edge. All you said was, do you think it's risky to long 169, 171? What the fuck is that? Yeah, I mean, what you're missing like 80% of the question. What divergences? Remember, you should be able to articulate to me, hey, because of A, B, and C, I'm thinking about taking a long. So, all right. I would say that you don't know what you're doing right now yet, Haskir. So, I would wait until you can articulate edge. Yes. Hedge Fawn says, you brought me to pixel entry. Let's go, pixel perfect. Kachaya. All right, any other questions? How we doing, y'all? Let's get juicy. It's pixel perfect. Hedge Fund says, do you use 3 to 7 leverage and entries? Yeah, we had like a really dope 3-hour like alpha TA like a couple months ago, Hedge Fund, where I showed throughout that 3-hour period how to take and adjust leverage, how to take positions and adjust. The condensed version of it is I'm managing risk and capital. So let's say that I'm trying to take this long, right? Let's say that I draw the box and I want to get filled, right? When I get filled, oops. Let's say that I'm taking a mil, okay? And then I'm going to do a 5x position. So the total size is 5 mil. Okay? When it changes structure and it starts to do this and all this other crap, what I can do is I can take the 5 mil and then I'll increase the leverage to 20. Okay? Now how much do I need? I only have 250K. And so when I'm already in profit and my stop loss is at break even, now I have another 750K to put towards another position. So we always enter like this. And then once our stop loss is in profit, we increase the leverage and we get our margin back. Yeah, there's like a day where I literally scalped entries and showed you guys how to do this for like 3 hours. I forget what, it was like a long time ago, like 6-8 months ago. We could do it again, maybe, if you want. But it makes sense, right? Eden says, but when you increase the leverage, you can't do it while the position is open. No, so why don't you just try it, Eden? Yeah, that's why I always tell you guys, try it yourself. Have your own personal experiences with whatever. So you have your own personal judgment. Right? Eden, imagine if I just bullshitted you and said, yeah, you can't do it. Then you would never have the opportunity to try it. Eden says, I tried it. It says needs to close the position. And you tried it with how many different exchanges? I just want you to understand, Eden, who you're competing against, right? Like, where does your ingenuity stop? Just one? Okay, so basically you're losing to anybody else that could have been able to think of doing it on other exchanges, right? Where does your ingenuity stop? That's the bigger question here. Whether you're trying to learn about Bugammas, whether you're trying to learn about open interest, whether it's about trying to do something on an exchange, where does your brain stop giving you ideas? And is it competitive enough? That's the bigger abstract concept that you got to figure out, right? Because it doesn't matter if it's about this, right? It's about anything. So that's the self-awareness that I want you to tap into, Eden. Forget like the academic work, right? Like, where does your brain stop out competing other brains? Does that make sense? That's what I want you to focus on, because that will pay dividends through all the other topics that you have to learn in crypto trading. So yeah, keep going. Just because one exchange doesn't let you do, and Eden, this is what I mean. Why do you think I promote 6 different exchanges? Do you think they're all identical? Do you realize that there is a reason why you would want to use one of these exchanges? Every single exchange that I promote has some sort of gimmick that makes them superior to the other one. One might have really, really low fees. One might have really, really good liquidity. One might have the lowest slippage when you get stopped out. One might let you adjust margin. One might let you change between isolated and cross while the trade is open. One might allow you to trade S&P and traditional markets with no KYC. Every single exchange that I promote has a positive. All right? Why do you think I use 6 different exchanges? There's a reason to use 6 different exchanges. And I know why each exchange is better than the other, and I use it for that specific purpose. Which exchange do I keep the shorts on the longest? The one with the highest amount of fees. Makes sense, right? Every single decision in this game should be a logical based decision. There's no room for you to do something that has no reason to do it. Somebody from YouTube, K, says, I'm new and want to learn your strategies, not sure where to start. You can start with like rewinding the stream like 15 minutes ago. I kind of broke it down for you, but yeah, you know, be sure to be here for the 28th, the week of the 28th. I'm going to break all this shit down. And you know what the best part is, Kay? I'm not really doing anything that spectacularly difficult or special, my guy. What you have to be special at is things like discipline, patience, and risk management. But like how to get into a trade, bro, that's not the hard part. Putting the stop loss at break even, manning up, and getting round tripped. That's the hard part. Not being greedy and shaving. That's the hard part. Dude, the math and the TA, the probabilities, easy. Okay? So if that's what you want to learn and that's what you want to figure out, watch my shit for like 2-3 months. You'll know everything that I know. Cachoya. I have a long from 1156. We got live filled, pixeled. The only place that I'm thinking about shorting is here. I have no short. So I don't know if you really think you know what I'm thinking, but do you need a recap? I don't have any shorts yet. The only place that I said I would think about shorting is the single print on CME. So that hasn't changed. I have longs from 79 all the way to 115. We've done them all live. Every single pullback I'm interested in longing. The only place that I would hedge short is where I should be TPing along, but I'm not going to. So to allow myself to responsibly, degenerately swing for 130K, I'm going to hedge short. So what I've been doing hasn't changed for 9 months, 8 months. But once in a while, people will, listen to what I'm doing. There's always a higher time frame thesis, a medium time frame thesis, and then the smaller time frame to day-to-day scalp thesis. And so I don't want you to get confused on some day-to-day stuff that we talked about, a 1 hour bear div or a 1 hour bull div, and then lose sight of what we're doing and what positions we have. So when you say, do you really think that? I'm not really thinking anything other than 130. But please make sure you get caught up. Once in a blue moon, somebody will come in and they didn't listen to the stream from yesterday, or they weren't here last week, or they didn't listen to the medium and higher time frame ideas that we had. And you're going to misinterpret. So at the end of so here's the thing that I want you to understand, Zoro. Are you going to be able to watch me 24/7, 365 every second of the hour? I think the realistic answer for most people is going to be no. Therefore, if you're never going to be able to listen to everything that I say, you're never going to know what I'm really thinking. So there's no value for you to try and piece together, pop your head in here, listen to this, hear that. You're going to get fucked. If you really know me, I'm always going to have a bullish idea and a bearish idea. I'm going to have a line where I go, above here is bullish, below here is bearish. And I'm always, especially the day-to-day stuff, the smaller time frame, I'm going to talk about a bearish plan and a bullish plan. All right, big dog. So, if you know that you can't listen to me every sec, because you don't want to be the dumbass that says, oh, but you said this. And then I pull up the YouTube clip 22 minutes before your little you said this moment, and I say the other thing. And I'm like, and I've had so many people be like, fuck, I didn't hear that part.
You just said.
You know? So, like, the only way to prevent yourself from not being that guy would be that you have to listen to me every second. And you have to know literally what I said, everything. So that's not realistic. I think the easier thing to do is to just understand what kind of ways I determine levels, what kind of ways or data that I like to determine if it's bullish or bearish. Adopt learning how to read that data, and then you'll know exactly. There's a reason why 90% of people that have been watching me for 6, 7, 8 months, they can tell you what my position is most likely, what my entry is, and what my position size is, because I've done the same shit pretty much, you know, for the last 2.5 years. So yeah, but if I get stopped out on the 115.6 long, then I will be looking for the 114 gap. And if the 114 gap don't work, then I will be waiting for like 111-ish. And those levels we talked about last week. So like next week, for example, if we nuke and we go to 114 or 111, I'm going to be saying shit like, we already planned this shit out 2 weeks ago, because we did. We pretty much already planned out and talked about what data and what edge we would like at 114 and 111. And the same way that I showed you bad high, imbalances, VWAP, Fibonacci from here to here, like how I figured out like this area, I already showed you how I figured out 114 and 111. Yeah. But again, are you the guy that needs to watch it every single time? Or are you watching these with the purpose of trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing? So maybe after watching me do it 3-4 times, you don't even need to watch my highlights ever again, because you know how I'm figuring out these levels. You know if the data is there or not. You know if you should have if you have a reason to long or short. So let's get it. My pleasure, big dog. So let me just kind of regroup and reread what you were asking. Do you really think that we will get the golden pocket since there is a bull flag forming on the 1 hour? Just curious and want to learn. Yeah, so I don't have any expectations. I guess if you put a gun to my head, we're going up. Okay? I was looking to long this. Okay? I'm a pretty big volume guy. So if you rewind, exclamation YouTube, if you go to this one is gonna have no music. Okay? And then the second one is gonna have music. But if you want to listen to just me talking, this is the stream that you want to watch. But go to this and rewind all the way to the beginning. And you'll notice that this is the level of interest that we had. I'm a pretty big volume guy. I love volume. So the original box was this. Okay? I wanted a rotation. You know, that's the support. Higher, low, that's the invalidation. I was looking for a long this morning. It was so bullish, it didn't even need to go down there. And it found support right as the golden pocket, right when RTH opened. And you know, this is a classic dip the tip and let it rip. So your open is your entry. You let it open, it goes down. You let it form the invalidation as it comes up. That's your entry, that's your stop loss. This is something that we've talked about for almost 2 years now, you know? And there's gonna be some people that will hear that and will try it every single fucking time. And then there's people that will actually not only try it, but they'll keep track of the probability. So they know that, aha, on Monday, dip the tip, X% probability. But on Friday, lower volume, X% probability. If it's above or below value, if it's above or below settlement, it's higher or lower probability, etc., etc. Yeah, so we're just sharing, man. Obviously, close the gap, but more importantly, if you start to spend time inside of value, okay, the book says you're going to rotate to the other side. Rotate to the other side, you're probably going to clean. And that's the CME single print I'm talking about. That's the first level where I might think about shorting. Okay, why? Because it's bad high. If I get all that shit that I just explained to other homie too. And the other thing too is it would be a harmonic too. So there's a chance that it could just do that. But what I'm hoping for, since I am bullish, is something more like brat, that, or that. All right. If I take a short from here, or let's say that its swing fails and I end up taking a short from here, that's my entry, that's my stop loss, right? And I end up with an entry short here, and it does this, and I shave a little bit, and it does this. Was I wrong? Because I'm still going to make money. It's not going to be as much money as I wanted. So some people might say, hey, Kimba, your short from there was wrong. Yeah, but I made money because I put my stop loss and profit right here. So I made that much. So am I here to be wrong? Am I here to be right? Or am I here to make money? Who gives a fuck if I was quote unquote wrong? In some people's eyes, I made a little bit of money. So this really just comes down to preparation and risk management. Assume that every single trade that you're going to trade is going to be wrong. And so just put stop loss at break even when you can. And hopefully you were smart enough, disciplined enough to take it when you had edge, and that edge buys you buffer room so you can put your stop loss at break even. Right? So we talked about a hypothetical scenario where there is like a hedge short for an ETH, but obviously looking for opportunities to get back in is the better juice. So yeah, higher time frame, you know, we're going to be waiting for 130 on BIDI. Medium time frame, there could be that harmonic in play. So you know, for all the edges that we talked about, SFP, open interest, hidden CVD, bear div, structural edge, if all that shit shows up, I'm probably in it. And as always, if none of those things show up, I'm definitely not in that short. So I'm excited to see what happens. I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow, pre-market. Can I get a ka-cha? Love you guys, man. Have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace, everybody. Good ka-cha.